Hello, my name is Marcella and welcome back to my channel. Before I get into what this video will actually be about, there is one thing I wanted to address. Over the last month or so, the content on this channel has been a little bit irregular. This is not going to be an apology for that, nor has there been any particular reason why I haven't been uploading as many videos. I haven't had any big live events happening or anything, but I still wanted to say some things about it. The one thing I said to myself when I started this channel is that I would only put up videos when I felt like it. I think even on BookTube, which is generally a pretty chill part of the internet, there is still some pressure to make your channel grow, and there's lots of videos with tips on how to do that, like post regularly, post at least 2 or 3 times a week, and I was never going to do that. My goal with this channel was always to engage with other people who are readers, and I always value quantity over quality in my interaction with other readers. And my other aim with this channel was more personal, in that I wanted to talk about books in a way that made me feel more connected to the books themselves and get more out of them. Over the last month there has actually been a few opportunities for videos I could make that I didn't take. One was that I went on a reading retreat in the Belgian Ardennes with a bunch of people, and I could have easily made that into a cozy reading vlog. And the other one is I just went on a holiday in Valencia. That could have also been a really fun travel vlog type of video, but I didn't film either of those, and I feel very much okay about it. I think for me it is really important to stay close to myself and only film when I want to, and I also want to be careful in that I don't turn everything I do into content for social media, you know, whether it's Instagram or YouTube. Yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say about that for now. That was a very long introduction to none of what this video is going to be actually about. I wanted to talk about the books I want to read by the end of the year, because as and when I'm filming this video, December is very fast approaching. And I know everyone's going to say this right now, but where does the time actually go? I have a large stack of books I want to get to by the end of the year. Realistically speaking, I will definitely not finish all of them, but I still wanted to talk about them. I divided these books into 3 different categories, and I'll explain them as I go through them. So the first category is books I am currently reading, so the books I am in the middle of, and these are all books I've been reading throughout November as well, and they are all books I read a little bit in each day. The first one is this poetry anthology, Resistencia, Poems of Protest and Revolution. These are all poems from Latin American authors. I am not a big poetry reader, and I noticed that my poetry reading skill isn't as developed as my prose reading skills, but I'm still really enjoying these. There's definitely interesting themes explored in this book, and I like that these poems are ordered chronologically. It starts in like early 20th century and then sort of up until present day. That way it forms a sort of narrative through the Latin American history. So I want to finish that by the end of the year. I have also been reading Tiny Beautiful Things by Cheryl. She had an advice column as Dear Sugar, and these are, I don't know if it's all of them, but at least a selection of the letters she's received as Dear Sugar and the answers she has written back to them in this advice column. I've been really enjoying this so far. It's like both the letters and the answers she has given to these letters are very genuine, and yeah, really good book so far. And then the last book I'm currently reading is the Christmas Chronicles by Nigel Slater. This is the Dutch translation. And this is basically a diary slash cookbook where Nigel Slater talks about his winter experience. So there's a little story every day with a recipe. These are all to do with winter, Christmas, and it is absolutely one of the coziest winter books I have ever read, and I am very much looking forward to continuing in this. I won't finish this by the end of the year because I think it goes through January as well. The next category of books is all to do with the Feminist Reading Challenge. Every year I like to do a year-long reading challenge with prompts that diversify my reading and make me pick up books I wouldn't naturally gravitate towards. I used to always do the Reading Women Challenge, but they sadly ended their podcast last year. So instead I'm doing the Feminist Reading Challenge this year, which is hosted by Liz Literary Nook on Instagram, and it has 25 reading prompts, and I still have 2.5 prompts left to do. So I say 2.5 because one of them I did technically complete, and that was a book on climate change, but the book I read for that was a middle grade book, and I didn't quite scratch that climate change nature writing itch for me. So if I have time, I would like to read this book. This is the Dutch edition of The Reindeer Chronicles and Other Inspiring Stories of Working with Nature to Heal the Earth by Judith de Schwartz. And this is a book all about different projects around the world where they want to restore nature and the earth. And I think it'd be great to read a book that talks about different solutions and different ways we can work with the earth to go against climate change. Another prompt I still have to do is read a mythology retelling set outside of ancient Greece, and I think you can interpret that two ways. One is to read a retelling of Greek mythology that is set in the modern world, and the other one would be to read a retelling of a mythology that is not from Greece, which is what I'll be doing with this book. I believe is influenced by Egyptian mythology. I don't know exactly if it is a straight up retelling, but it does have a character named Osiris, which I believe is a character in Egyptian mythology, and I think I'll have to read a little bit about Osiris as a character because I don't really know anything about him. But yeah, this is what I'm going to read for a myth retelling. And then the last prompt I have to do for the Feminist Reading Challenge is read a book by Bell Hooks. I think bell hooks is a very important writer on intersectional feminism, and I've never read anything by her, and this is the book they had by her in my local library. Feminism is for everybody, and what I'm hoping this book will bring me is some more pieces of the puzzle of feminist theory and feminist history, and especially intersectional feminism. So yeah, very much looking forward to reading this one. And then the last category is the biggest and also probably the most embarrassing category. So at the beginning of the year, or the end of last year, there was this template going around on Instagram where you could ask 12 friends for 12 book recommendations. So I practically begged everyone on Instagram to give me book recommendations of what I should read, and I have so far read only 3 and DNF'd one of them. So I have 8 books still to read, which obviously I will never manage by the end of the year. But I did go to my local library and looked up all the books they had available. So the library had 6 of them available, so I'm just gonna quickly go through them. The first one is Open Water by Caleb Azumah Nelson. It is the book I am probably most excited to read from this stack. This is a book I had wanted to read before I asked for these recommendations, and it's pretty short, so I think it's likely I will get to this. The next is Interior Chinatown by Charles Yu, which I don't know anything about. I have The Midnight Library by Haig, and to be honest, I'm not sure this is going to be a book for me, but I still want to give it a go because the person who recommended to me is a close friend of mine, so I wanted to at least give it a shot. Then I have 1,000 Ships by Natalie Haynes, which is one of those feminist Greek myth retellings. I am interested in this, but we'll see if I have time to get to it. Then I have a book by a Dutch author, which is Charlatans by Daphne Huisden. I would love to read this because I read embarrassingly few books by Dutch authors, and I would especially want to read the young contemporary Dutch authors, and this is one of them. So yeah, I'm hoping to maybe squeeze this in as well. And then the last one is TBR and the Nightingale by Katherine Arden. I have been sort of aware of this book since it came out. I think it is very much influenced by Russian folklore and fairy tales. I think it would be a really great winter book. But yeah, we'll see if I have time for this. What I think I will do with the last category of books is try a chapter tag or something to see which ones really speak to me, because realistically I'm not going to get to all of them by the end of the year. Here's the massive stack of books I will not finish by the end of the year, but are my options. Why is this book wet? Ugh. Tell me your reading plans for the end of the year. Have you read any of these books? I want to know if you are excited about them. I'm not particularly interested if you didn't love any of these books, because right now I still want each of them to have a fair chance. Yeah, that's it for today. I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.